I am 28 years in life. 28 years is not a long time. Oh, it depends on the way that I look at it, but it's not a long time. It's a short time. Normal life expectancy is about 70-ish years or so. So 28 years in, and like for everyone else, has been a bumpy road, a lot of up and downs and left and rights, circles and diagonals, squares and circles and all shapes. My life is not crazy or anything, but as I do from time to time, I have my seasons. I have my seasons where I think about what has happened over time, like where I am now, and I think I'm going into a stage where I'm gonna transition into a lot more freedom. So I will depend on myself way more than I ever have, and I may lose some relationships, or relationships may change, and I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, like I always do. So it means that I'm gonna learn a lot as well. And I want to see how much I will learn doing stuff myself, not alone, but where nobody's hovering over me, telling me what to do, where I'm not so influenced directly by others' opinions before I can have my own. And it's not the fault of other people. This is something that I have to deal with day by day, or not even day by day. That's to make it smaller than that. Uh, Situation by situation. I see that I have to, if I want to have peace with myself, like I need to come to terms with what decisions I'm making. So, an example where, like now, I realized I felt uncomfortable resting, which I didn't realize before. Well, I did, but I thought it was bad to rest. I didn't think I should ever rest. So it made me very restless. And as I started to become more still and looked at spaces where I was by myself as more like solitude, and I can think more clearly, and nobody's opinions is getting in my way of what I'm thinking, then it was helping me think, I want to have more of this. I want to be able to think, know what my opinions are again. I want to learn myself again. I want to love myself again. Like I remember I did when I was a lot younger, and there was some parts I remember about growing up that stuck with me. Like I wanted to learn what my body could do, like what noises could come from my body, how I could move my body, because it all felt so new. It was very new to me, and I can imagine most children will have the same thoughts. Even my parents, yeah, even my parents, even anybody that I find could be rigid in thinking, or I can't imagine them when they were younger. Maybe they don't have no baby pictures, any younger pictures, or just anything to do with being free as a child. I don't see that in someone. Even them, they must have had those sort of thoughts and feelings, but perhaps they got shut down when they were young, and they haven't healed from that. So I see the good thing about having that from when I'm thinking back now is that regardless of what has happened to me, good or bad, I know life is unfair for everyone, more or less. So the good that I take away from it is that I will learn to, like, I will be able to learn and be on the journey to now heal from all the traumas that I have, heal from all the things that hurt me that I was avoiding and telling myself it didn't hurt, and all the things I used to protect myself during the times I was growing up, especially when I was going through puberty. That seemed like the time where I really had to guard myself. But there were times also before puberty as well where certain things happened that I had to guard myself. So at the time, they didn't seem that bad. But sometimes when I'm around young children, or it used to happen a lot before, I think it will happen again later on, that when I have my own children, that I will see somebody at a certain age and think, oh wow, when I was that age, that's when that thing happened to me. And I remember one of the first times I thought that. I thought, wow, that is kind of crazy to see it from the outside, but on the inside, it was just like it happened. I didn't think about it too much, but sometimes it'll come to mind, but not too much. But when I saw it from a different perspective, working with youth, younger people at times, or being around friends or family members who have like younger children, and I just see, oh, wow, that's interesting that that happened at that time. And who knows what my family and friends' children are going through. It's easy to hide stuff, and it's easy for me to miss it if I'm so wrapped up in my own world and I don't notice the signs of somebody who's deeply hurt or going through what they're going through. But if I'm being selfish and so focused on myself, then I won't see the signs that somebody needs help, and help doesn't have to be sacrifice every single thing for someone, but at least be there in the capacity that they need. And to know, I have to remind myself that people are different. People have different personalities and temperaments. Just because there was a way that I needed somebody to show up for me, I don't have to show up exactly like that for somebody else. And doing this, being in a space of working with youth, I'm happy that I'm able to learn again, relearn that I can show up differently for different people, and different parts of me I can give and share with others. Some are more reserved and I can show my more reserved side. Some are more active and like jumpy and energetic. I can show that side of me as well. And both sides of me are real. And when they show the different sides, I can appreciate that. But in the moment, I have to learn to remember that, like, as people warm up to me, I'll warm up to them. Not to rush relationships, not to rush closeness and all these things. It's like I have to relearn it again. At one point I shut it off. So I'm relearning slowly over time. Slowly over time, I'm just relearning how to be a real human again. And like, for example, I've avoided this for a long time. Avoided looking at my face in the mirror or camera properly. I wouldn't examine myself. I felt so weird, especially during, what was it, 2022 until around 2025. During those times, I had some good times those times, but I was very drained emotionally, extremely drained, and I was ignoring it, ignoring my feelings, ignoring myself, and at the same time so caught up in trying to please a specific person that I started to forget memories that I've had with my siblings and with people who I cared about, because I was so focused on pleasing one person, and the one person I felt like I couldn't be myself around. And I'm not going to say they're a bad person or anything, but I just made myself way more available than I needed to be, and I started to people please to get the approval of this person. And I was going against my morals and my standards, and going against my own judgment, my own gut feeling. I went against everything that was in me to please this person. And I realized I did something very similar when I was younger, growing up in a busy house with a specific person. When I wanted to get close to a specific person, when I wanted to get close to a person, there was somebody I felt like the way I had to get close to them, I could get close to them, was if I ended up doing those same things to people please them, to have a relationship with them, not thinking about how we could be very different people and I don't have to be that close with them. I thought, well, I'm just gonna have to numb myself. I didn't think it that through that much, but I reasoned subconsciously. I would just have to numb myself in certain ways and like, yeah, numb myself in certain ways and act a certain way so I can get the approval of that person from when I was younger. Did something similar from 2022 to 2020. No, really, it was like 2024, and the effects were still heavy even in 2025 and still in 2026. So, but it's been what an up and down journey. The lows have felt so low, the highs have felt quite high, but sometimes the lows felt so low. I started to understand why some people wouldn't want to be alive anymore. And at times I did, but not to kill myself, but I I thought, oh, God, if there was a way that you could have just, like, I could have just been a stillborn, or you could just take me away without me having to kill myself. That wouldn't be too bad. It wouldn't last that long, but there'll be times I'll feel it. Then the good thing about that is that I guess I can see when someone's truly hurting, I can see where they're coming from. I know that they might not need a lecture, somebody to try and make them feel better with their words, or fill in the silence with comforting, comforting, the things that I might feel like I have to say, like, oh, things will get better, all that stuff. Like, at that time, I didn't want to hear that. Definitely don't want to hear that. And this is how I'm trying to learn for whoever may be going through what they're going through, that I can help them where they need. So my capacity is if somebody who just needs the company of somebody who's not going to judge, who's not going to talk, or they don't need to, but just be there for them. If they need a hug or just presence or something to take the mind away from just constant problems so they can have time to process what they're going through. And because I've been seeing so much now in the age 28 years old, people that I've gone to school with, that we went through puberty together during secondary school, and my siblings as well. It seems that there's so much pain shared with everyone. Everyone has so much pain and traumas that they're trying to heal from. Some it seems like are dealing with it head on. Others it seems like that could come later on. And at the moment, um, it's still a lot of masking. And I think also with my parents and their friends, people their age, I don't think it's just a cultural thing. I think it's like a personal thing. If somebody doesn't heal from their traumas, then, because like for me, I felt like during those 2 years, 2022 to 2024, my cup was so small. I was so fixated on, um, like when I was so fixated on pleasing this person, I wasn't able to grasp what I was experiencing. So when I was around people who maybe they really did care for me, I couldn't see it because I was just so focused on pleasing this person. And I think that was a trauma response to what was happening when I was younger. And now that I'm trying to heal and I'm seeing healing feels like a constant thing. Almost every situation I'm in, I have to choose the small decisions that are difficult for me to take, where people won't see it and nobody needs to see it. Not like I need the recognition, but sometimes I still want validation from people. I've noticed that as well. Each time I feel like I've gotten over validation or I've gotten over a need, gotten over a trauma, then it's like it will get deeper. But this is part of the healing that I've been praying for. Like the memories do have to come back because some of my memory has gone. Is it's like it's been trapped deep, 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 embedded deep within me, deep within me. And yeah, I guess doing this feels like it's helping with the healing. Feels like it's nurturing a part of me that I liked about myself when I was younger. When I like to think back on where, like, my journey in life and how I didn't think of like the term personal development or anything like that, but I liked learning and knowing that, oh, there's something I didn't know and I know it now. And I can see how I've grown. And when I'm saying that, my mind is telling me that that's a cocky thing to say, but no, I think everybody likes to grow. Everybody does. I think it's a very normal human thing to grow. And I'm just uh, telling myself this so that I teach myself out loud that growing is normal. Should be the standard for me to grow and not grow so I can get likes, not to grow for people to see me, but to grow so I can give more. I can join more conversations when I grow more. I can be in different rooms. I can actually have the friends that I want to have because I have, there will be like a fair exchange. I can actually give them things that they need, not with money, but give them the things that makes a good friendship, a strong one. And I know one part of me that I really need to grow is how I view myself and love myself enough to where I actually do the things I want and not let the worry of what people think stop me from doing it. Because I've deleted pictures and videos that are more or less gone forever. I've deleted songs or memories that at the time I was so consumed with the fear of what people would think when either I wanted to fit in or somebody I liked. I was hearing that voice like, what are they gonna think? They're gonna think they're gonna think you're a nerd. Like they're gonna think that you're so fruity if you keep this up. Like don't you remember what they said when they spoke about how you take pictures? And is not something that seemed crazy at the time because in our environments, me and all those people I was with, we all grew up around hearing people tear each other down, and you might have in households where fighting was normal and arguments were very normal, tearing each other down was very normal, and you wouldn't consider the other person's feelings behind closed doors so much. And when we learn to hide these things so well, you wouldn't, you might miss the signs that somebody's really breaking, somebody is hurting a lot, and some are on the verge of jumping over the cliff. And I know of one who has, and yeah, so I have to be careful what I say towards people and how I treat people. It might seem small, that gossiping seems small, and what we say doesn't have much of an effect, but all these memories, all these traumas, that we have. And then, I mean, it shows very well when I drink too much, or when at the times where I was using drugs, it did feel like an escape for a bit. Yeah, it felt like an escape indeed. Especially the stronger ones felt like an escape. It felt like I could get those feelings back when I was younger, pure bliss. And there was a big trade-off every time. It was the issue with the drugs. You might feel good for a bit, but it comes with a big trade-off that you think, damn, it's not worth it. But then you haven't dealt with the pain, you haven't dealt with the trauma, and not in a big way, but just facing it, actually acknowledging it, and not for like where it just comes to mind and then because it feels uncomfortable, turn away from it, but that acknowledge it and sit with it, feel uncomfortable and work through that by like understanding why. Like for me, it's been accepting that I do have trauma and I do have baggage. I do have a lot of issues inside. And the good part is that they can all be turned around. I have not lost hope. I have more hope now than I have before. I am aware that I will probably be challenged again today in a way that I'm not expecting. Whether it's my patience, I might be annoyed by a situation or many situations. Things will happen. The things that I'm letting pile up as well that can affect me. And it's just each situation at a time. I have to make the right decision, the one that will help me. And what helps me is that I don't think of it anymore like um such a big picture, but just when a situation comes that I'm prepared, like I'm preparing my mind for, I'm gonna be patient. I don't care what it is for or what happens, what people say to me, what somebody says to me. If I'm thrown off by like a comment or someone's views on me or something, then I have to regulate myself. And every time I do, it gets easier to do it again and it feels more natural. Even now, speaking, now that I've slowed down, I'm stumbling on my words a lot less than I used to. And I felt so uncomfortable with speaking slowly because I felt like I would feel smarter if I spoke faster. But when I do, then I'll stumble or I might forget what I'm speaking about. But now, like 23 minutes in, I even feel a lot calmer now getting this out instead of having it all in my mind. Then when there's so much noise in my mind, then a bad thought can come into my mind. I can take it as the truth because it's just mixed in with everything else. Then it will just snowball into worse thinking and worse thinking. And then I might want to drink now because I'm thinking so bad that, and not just a little drink, but drink like I want to get drunk. Probably at home, but yeah, most likely at home. Like, okay, I want to get drunk now. Or I'll make myself think that. And yeah, it could just snowball into other things. Because when I drank, it's like my water's been depleted and other nutrients, it feels like it comes out my body, so I get more tired and I feel less likely to do things that use energy. And I know, okay, maybe I should eat some fruits, like whatever my body's craving. It's like sometimes I might want watermelon. Maybe there's some nutrients in there that alcohol takes away, especially having like a whole bottle in one sitting. But when I'm under the influence, then those bad thoughts feel like so natural. All the bad thoughts. It's like it will just be thoughts of I'll be influenced. I can feel the influence. I can feel the influence. So on this journey of healing is it feels I feel a lot better now. Like it feels more natural now to even make a mistake and feel alright with making a mistake. I started playing Sudoku and playing using a brain game called Elevate and what other one? Something else where when I made a mistake, it's like it will trigger me. And especially at the start, I think why, like when I first played Sudoku, I wanted to play it before, probably some years ago or so, a few months ago. But the the biggest barrier was it's going to be tough to learn that because when I'm trying to learn something new like that, like when I tried it with chess, I thought I was just so overwhelmed by how I didn't know what to do. It seemed like a lot to do, and I need to do it perfectly. Like I hated to make the mistakes and I hated feeling so stupid. But with Sudoku, I when I was first tried it, and I didn't understand why I was making. There was a certain mistake with the number four, but the number four is not important. Is the mistake was I wasn't looking at the whole board altogether to understand where my mistake was coming from. I posted it on Reddit, asked what is the mistake, and I think I was just looking at the column but not the row. So when people were um sending messages, I was under it's like I was almost in fight or flight mode because also I was worried about how I would look dumb by asking such a question. And then a moderator removed or they say removed it from being reacted to, so nobody could like or comment on it or anything like that, have any interaction. But what was left, so all the comments that the people left were still there. So I gathered up my courage, read the comments, then one person described it in a way that I was able to understand. Everyone else said it in a way that it didn't really make sense what they were saying to me. But one person, he broke it down very simply, and he gave he broke it down simply and gave all the points. He even drew arrows and showed like where my mistake was. So from there, slowly, oh, I need to sneeze. They're gonna come out. Okay, no, it's probably gonna come out later. And he showed me my error and how to fix it. And I went back, and this was when, because it was new on the Sudoku app, I think you have to start off on like easy mode. So I went back, then I was learning a bit more. I was like, okay. And there was a certain part, same as when I do my coursework at uni. There's a part during when I'm revising that I feel tiredness and my thoughts are flooded with uh it's not fight or flight mode, it's like I'll feel like shutting down and this is so long and I could be doing something else and all those things and a sort of tiredness that only comes when I'm doing something that feels so that I've been avoiding for so long because I avoided doing anything like homework or coursework for years, absolute years. So when at one point, I think one part that helped me was one time when I did coursework, I was like, I just ended up sticking through that tiredness. And I knew inside me, I knew subconsciously, this tiredness is because it's like my brain is finding a way out of doing the coursework. And it got so strong that I ended up having it probably was like a 15-second power nap here. And then when I came to, I came to and I felt refreshed. And it's like my brain, what people would call like a runner's high when you run long enough and you just get into your groove. I got into that for studying. So it's like my mind was now clear from random thoughts and I was able to focus on what I was doing. And from there, I think I used that for Sudoku as well. And then it started to get easier. And I was, every time I would try to increase the difficulty from, it was from what, easy, medium, hard, I think, expert, master, and extreme. So when I went to medium, it was uh, almost like my fight or flight kicked in and I was worried about mistakes. So when I would increase in difficulty, I would be worried about mistakes. Or I think at one point I stayed on one difficulty for a while because I was afraid of, I was so focused on, "Oh, it's harder. And there's a mode where when you just play, when you click play, it would make the difficulty random. So the ones that you have unlocked anyway, because it has from easy up until say extreme, and you have to defeat the previous ones a certain amount of times to unlock the next one. So to unlock medium, you might have had to do easy like 10 times, beat it 10 times, and then so on and so on. So eventually I started unlocking them more. But what would happen is because when it will randomize, if I did look at the difficulty, what the difficulty says, then I would allow it to like affect how I was playing the game and how I saw it. And then there was the opportunity is like I guess a thought came to me that I can use this as a way to work through making mistakes and feel okay with it. Because no one is here, is my mind that's so scared of making mistakes. Like nobody knows I'm playing Sudoku besides my sisters because I told them I wanted some validation. So they're the only ones that knew, but they're not watching me play or anything. So I, each time I made a mistake and I would feel it's like the autopilot part of my mind, the habit was it's like I flinched and I felt like my auto habit part of my brain wanted to say like, why did you do that? Oh, look what you did. Then I just would do it every now and then, and just calm myself down. It's alright, it's fine, it's okay, it's alright to make the mistake, it's alright to make the mistake. And ever so slowly, but I didn't realize how much it was working. It's now that I'm thinking about it, how fine I feel doing it now compared to before. It's not completely gone, but the difference now, there's a big difference from now compared to definitely when I first started. And I guess even last month, 2 months ago. And I do not remember my original point. I assume it was for making mistakes, if I recall, for making mistakes, feeling comfortable making mistakes. So yeah, the Sudoku and the Elevate as well. Elevate is another one. It's like a new challenge. It's almost like I've gone back to how it was with Sudoku. Because Elevate, they have some parts where it's like trying to memorize what the people say. They got different activities. Some are more focused on memory. Some are more focused on what was it? Memory, different brain workouts. There's memory, blah blah blah, like visualization, all those things. The memory one is the one that challenges me the most, the one that annoys me the most, the one where that voice, autopilot voice about mistakes comes again. And secretly, I was doing the workouts that were the easiest for me, so the writing ones. But hearing it, because when I'm hearing it, I can feel and I hear it's like my mind goes to focus on, ah, instead of me thinking about what I'm hearing, focusing on what I'm hearing, my focus keeps going to you're not gonna remember what they're saying. You're missing what they're saying. Then I miss what they're saying because I'm not focusing on what they're saying. And that's the next part to deal with. And my own development I'm seeing is that when I am more independent and there's nobody to watch over me doing every single thing that I do, and I have my own influences, that I will do these things more freely and put myself in these situations where the natural instinct at first, the habit that I've built for years to help, I guess, in the environment that I was, is now I can break it just step by step. And I'm seeing, for me, it is step by step. No more skipping, no more trying to skip the steps. Just do it step by step and work through the uncomfortable feelings, work through the emotions that feel so negative and at the time feels like such a big deal. Once again, learn that it's fine. Like some things are just thoughts. They're just thoughts. All these things. And the thing that I like is as I keep continuing to do this, I will improve in my speech, how I see myself, how I view the world, how I see people, and having more self-respect and making it easier for me to create my boundaries for people and situations. And being back in education, what I like about it is it gives me a guide on, like before I was in education, I was away from education for, what was it, 8 years or 10 years. I left when I was around 17 or 18, so about 10, 11 years. I'm being back now, or let me say when I wasn't in education for those 10, 11 years. I knew I wanted to learn some stuff, but for me to make the structure myself, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I was still in my people pleasing phase. So, and oversharing phase as well. Deadly combo. My goodness, because you overshare with people who I think naturally, it seems like, from my observations, it seems like naturally, if somebody's able to, I guess, impose their views on you, then they will. And I don't think people are doing it in a like spiteful, evil way on purpose. But I think it's just if, like, for example, if somebody or myself, if I say, okay, I'll be here for you no matter what, you can call me anytime, and they see that I'm somebody who would literally listen to every single thing they say, and if they want to vent, I'm there to hear everything they say, then of course they'll end up taking advantage of it because they will feel better. Like, they'll feel nicer. So being a doormat is not good. And I'm learning that. And I'm going to get into more uncomfortable situations where I'm going to say no, or I'm going to distance myself from some situations or relationships. And I'm going to work through the feelings and thoughts of if I did make the wrong or right decision, but I have to remember why I'm doing it in the first place, and that I need to respect myself. And in 2 years, not even 2 years, forget that, in 3 months, 5 months time, would it be as much of a big deal as I think it is at this moment? So it's breaking from my old self that I don't need anymore. It's getting more interesting because now I want to know, I'm more curious to see, like, how different will I be? How different will I find myself when I reflect again in, if I'm still alive in, let's say, 2 years? You never know what will happen, but if I'm still here, then how different will things be? How much would I have grown by? And how much more will I not need validation from people or not need to be seen by people? How much more would I be comfortable myself and just share things with people who I can have a deep connection with? Like, let's say now, I know there'll be people who relate to what I'm saying, and I also like hearing from people who may be going through similar things, or it doesn't have to be what I'm going through, but how they overcame what they are going through. And yeah, so even dealing with that, believing that like nobody would care because it's me, or if I did it, it means that it will be wrong, or somehow I'll do it wrong. Like I remember even tying my shoes. I thought because I'm tying my shoe, it won't be right. Even if I did it the way that seemed like it was right. I had these thoughts. I remember around the times I had these thoughts. These were at early ages. It felt like around 6 years old or stuff. I started thinking this way. Not all the time, but I remember I guess when I wanted to try something new or something where it's like in me wanted to do something new, but that fear will come that, oh, cause I'm doing it, it's going to be wrong. Somehow it will be wrong. And these are part of the things that I'm breaking away from. And one step at a time has been helping me. And being okay with making mistakes has been helping me. Praying as well has been helping me a lot. And actually thinking that a lot of the situations I'm in now is what I prayed for. I was praying that I want to learn how to read the Bible with common sense. And I feel like being at uni now is because at uni I'm learning to look for the evidence of things and what is true, what's not, and learn to read things and like understand why something is true or not true. And I'm also able to be around other people who I wouldn't have necessarily been around on purpose because we are different people, but I get to be around them. And it's nice to be in education again, especially a bit older, and that I want to do it myself, not because somebody told me to. This feels natural. This is what I've been missing. When I used to do these, let's say 2, 3 years ago, I was so concerned with, but if I do this, if I do speak, then I made it so short because I was so worried about what would people think. More, really, it was one person, the person I was people pleasing. It was mainly them that I'll think about. They will probably think this is stupid or you're not serious. You keep joking around too much. They wouldn't say it to me directly, but they said it about other people all the time when I was around them. So I always assumed, well, they talk about everybody that they seem to even like or be around. They'll definitely do it to me. But if this is considered gossiping, then I'm gonna stop now because I don't want to gossip about anyone. But all in a nutshell, this is my healing process. This is me healing from my deep traumas and my past wounds. And I would like to be a lot more transparent, not oversharing, but just transparent with how I feel and respect my own likes and the things that I like and what I don't like are my boundaries. This is where I am at the moment, and I know I'll meet if I meet more people, I'll meet the right people, and I'll become the right person to help people. Because ultimately, I do like to help. I do like to help and show that I care. Like not by saying that I care, but I guess yeah, at times just to remind someone, but mainly to show it as well, and not for other people to see, but for them to know that I do care and I do see myself in some years' time, like being so comfortable with myself that I do not need validation from anybody really, or not from people that I don't know, I don't care deeply about, but validation from God mainly. and then validation from the people who are close to me, who I hold dear to my heart, that I think about very often and have dreams about. Those are the people who I want to show up for completely. And then the rest, I'll show up for in a way that wouldn't drain me. And that's the story of Balamori, if you like to know.